Before doors, there were no locks, no peepholes, no deadbolts, no alarms, just instinct and fear. Imagine sleeping in the wild. No walls, just wind, dirt, firelight, and darkness that moves. Your family's huddled together. Every sound outside could be something coming in. There were no steel knobs to twist. So how did they stay safe? Used what they had. Nature, tools, and trust. Branches woven into barricades, heavy stones rolled against cave mouths. Fire built at the edge of the camp, casting shadows to make predators think twice. In tribal villages, they posted lookouts, not surveillance cams. Real people, eyes wide open, alert under the stars. Security wasn't something they owned. It was something they lived. Their safety came from community, from signals, from preparedness, from always being just a little ready to run or fight. You think about that. Before doors, home wasn't a structure. It was awareness. It was belonging. It was constant vigilance. And here's where it hits home. We've built bigger doors, smarter locks, cameras with night vision, yet many of us still don't feel safe. Isn't that wild? Because somewhere along the line, we confused locked with secure. Truth is, you can't buy real safety. It's not just a bolt or a password. It's knowing your circle has your back. It's trusting your gut when something feels off. It's teaching your kids what to watch for, not just what to fear. Security starts way before the doorframe. It starts with boundaries, with awareness, with connection. So maybe the old ways weren't so primitive. Maybe they were just raw, real, and deeply human. Your door might look like a conversation you've been avoiding, a toxic person you need to block, a habit you should lock out for good. So ask yourself, what's guarding your peace? Who's watching your back? What walls have you built that no longer serve you? Before doors, they used everything they had to protect what mattered. Now, so can you. Not just with tech, but with courage.
Ow.
With clarity. With people who stand at your side, like ancient watchers around the fire. Don't just close the door. Build the kind of life you don't need to lock up so tight, where your safety isn't behind barriers, but in how you live. It's real security. That's what they knew before doors ever existed, and maybe it's time we remembered it too. Have you ever watched a nature documentary and seen a mama bear protecting her cubs? Or how a lioness will do anything to defend her pride? Mama bears and lionesses are the ultimate role models when it comes to protecting their families. They don't wait for danger to come. They build their homes, their prides, their dens in places that are hard to get to. They camouflage themselves with the surroundings. If something dares to get too close, they don't hesitate to show their claws. Now, I know you might think, I'm not a lioness. I don't have sharp claws, but hear me out. You have something even stronger, your brain. You can use your brain to create boundaries, to plan ahead, to make your life harder for problems to crack. Just like a mama bear, you need to think about where you put yourself. What communities do you let into your life? Are your friendships built on solid ground? Or are they on shaky, uneven rocks? Lions usually hang out with other lions. They stick with their own kind. Why? Because they have a better chance of surviving that way. If you want to feel safer, you need to do the same. Stop letting just anyone into your life. Start picking friends who make you stronger, not weaker. Even the smallest actions can make a huge difference. Unfollow accounts that bring you down. Block the people who only cause drama. Spending less time on social media can be a game changer. Trust me, the world won't end if you miss a few posts or videos. You see, our ancestors didn't have fancy security systems, but they had instincts honed by thousands of years of living in the wild. They huddled close to their families, using their bodies as shields, their numbers as strength. They kept fires going, not just for warmth, but to ward off danger. Firelight danced in their eyes, sending shadows that tricked predators into thinking twice. It wasn't about locking themselves in. It was about being prepared, about being aware. They chose spots for their camps that were close to water and had a clear view of their surroundings. No blind spots for them. They used natural materials like branches and rocks to create barriers. They were ready to move fast, to climb or hide if needed. It wasn't easy, but they didn't have a choice. Being safe was a constant job. In those days, there were no front doors, but every entrance was a potential point of entry for danger.
Ow.
Every window was a potential target, so they became masters of observation, always on the lookout, always ready to react. As I talk to you now, think of the tools they used. The spear was more than just a weapon. It was an extension of their vigilance. The bow and arrow allowed them to defend from a distance. Their keen eyesight and hearing were their allies. They used what they had, their senses, their skills, their environment. It wasn't complicated, but it was effective. They passed their knowledge down through stories, songs, and rituals. Each new generation learned how to read the signs, how to interpret the sounds of the wild. They taught their kids how to be aware, how to pay attention to the details. For example, they shared stories about poisonous plants so everyone knew what to avoid. They taught each other how to identify animal tracks and understand their behavior. They even created warning systems using drums or smoke signals so everyone was informed about potential threats. Some tribes would post lookouts on hilltops or high trees. These individuals would scan the horizon, keeping a sharp eye out for danger. If anything unusual was spotted, they would sound an alarm, alerting the entire community in an instant. It was a simple yet highly effective system that relied on the keen eyesight and quick thinking of these vigilant observers. Imagine standing at the top of a hill, wind tousling your hair, the sun warming your skin, and the vast landscape stretching out before you like a tapestry woven with trees, valleys, and distant horizons. As a lookout, your eyes would be the first line of defense, trained to spot the smallest flicker of movement, the faintest trail of smoke in the distance. Ash! It was a solitary job, demanding patience and focus, but crucial to the safety and well-being of the community. With every passing moment, you'd silently scan the panorama, your gaze unwavering, your senses alert. You were not just a spectator, but an active participant in the survival of your people. When it comes to personal security, you don't need fancy gadgets or high-tech gear. You need awareness, planning, and a dash of common sense. When I say you, I mean all of us. We all have the ability to create safe spaces for ourselves, to set boundaries, and to be aware of our surroundings. Let me tell you a story about a friend of mine, Sarah. She lives in a big city, and at first she felt uneasy walking alone at night. She tried taking self-defense classes and carrying pepper spray, but something was still missing. Then she started paying attention to her surroundings. She noticed that certain streets were darker and less traveled, so she switched to well-lit routes with plenty of people around. She also started walking with purpose, shoulders back, chin up, making eye contact with others. This small shift in her mindset made a big difference. She realized that feeling safe wasn't about avoiding danger, it was about being prepared and confident. Now she walks with her head held high, ready for anything. Here's the bottom line. Life is unpredictable, but that doesn't mean you have to feel unsafe. Remember the wisdom of the ancients. They didn't have fancy locks or alarms, but they had instincts, skills, and a deep connection to their environment. They were proactive, not passive. They are aware, not afraid. So what will you do today to feel safer? Will you unfollow that account that brings you down? Will you block the person who only causes drama? Will you spend less time on social media? Because remember, your peace of mind is in your hands. You have the power to create the life you want to live. Don't wait for danger to find you. Be proactive. Be aware.